welcome back to the Ria Diary. So today's diary entry is talking about breastfeeding. So guys, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty side of it. Like, can we not beat each other up about whether we choose to breastfeed or formula feed or express? Like, as long as the baby is fed, I am happy. Like, I do believe fed baby is best, but I do exclusively breastfeed. One, obviously, I want my baby to have the best nutrients that he can get, and I don't shit on anybody for any way that they feed their baby. This is just the way I chose to feed my baby. The main reason I chose to breastfeed Miles is because, one, I am lazy. Like, I do not want to wash loads of bottles. I take my hat off to anybody that is doing formula feeding and they're having to wash a million bottles during the night, get up and make the bottle. Like, I already knew as soon as I got pregnant that I'm too lazy to do that. So I wanted to be able to just breastfeed him in the night, and that's what I've been able to do. So it made my life a lot easier, and I do take my hat off to anybody that is doing it in a different way. The second reason was exclusively pumping just made me feel really anxious about the supply. I did have an oversupply when I gave birth, and I already had to pump just to get rid of some of that extra milk. So yeah, I knew I wanted to breastfeed, and I'm breastfeeding. I don't know how long I'm going to do it for, maybe between 6 months to a year. I know as long as possible, but I do like having my body to myself. I do get touched out quite easily, so I probably will breastfeed up to a year, and then I'll move on. Or as soon as he eats solids, which is 6 months, then he can have a boob maybe every now and then, or an express bottle. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about my journey with breastfeeding, how it's been, the challenges that I've faced, the positives, the negatives, and if this is something that you are considering. This is just my opinion and my experience of how it's been. So yeah, so let's get into it. So my personal experience with breastfeeding has been up and down. I think it has been for everybody. Breastfeeding is not easy. I want to put that out there. It is not easy for anybody. It's not something that comes naturally, which sounds ridiculous because it's the most natural thing any human could ever do. But it is something that does not come naturally. So you have to teach yourself how to breastfeed, and you have to teach baby how to breastfeed, which is a lot harder than it looks. So I did struggle in the first early days because I expected to just be able to breastfeed, and I was someone that has had a lot of milk from early on. So I was leaking milk from week 20 pregnancy, so it literally just came natural, and I was expressing colostrum in the hospital. Miles was in the SCIBU, which is the same as NICU in America, or infant the pediatric ward when he was born, because he had fluid in his lungs, because I had an emergency C-section. So I wasn't able to have a lot of skin to skin time when he was born, and I wasn't able to breastfeed straight away in the first hour of his life. So it was more challenging for me to be able to breastfeed Miles. But I didn't give up. I honestly just persevered, and Miles took to the boob pretty well. So I was lucky in that way. He was able to latch. There was lactation consultants in the hospital, which kind of gave me a lot of support. My mum did breastfeed me and my siblings, so she also supported me in that fact, and taught me how to breastfeed. And I also did a lot of research on YouTube University before Miles was born about how to breastfeed. And I do think that was really a key factor. Like, I knew about latching styles, I knew how to latch. But knowing how and actually doing are two different things. So don't beat yourself up if you can't get a good latch straight away. Just focus on making sure the baby's bottom lip is turned down and the top lip is turned up. So like fish lips. And that's how the baby is going to be able to get as much milk. So your nipple should be at the roof of their mouth, at the back of their throat. Don't get me wrong, Miles does not latch like this all the time, but like, he doesn't have too much of a struggle latching. So as long as he's latched, that's the most important thing. And you will have an easier journey if they latch correctly. So just focus on getting that done as soon as possible. So the next thing that I had to focus on was positioning. Finding a good position to breastfeed in is a lot harder than it looks, and I do really think those pillows are worthwhile. They are it is challenging, because if you have an oversupply, sitting upright like this and feeding a baby, the milk just hisses into their mouth and they do splutter, choke, swallow gas, and it makes them uncomfortable. So you don't want that. And Miles did struggle with that a lot at first, because my boobs were literally just these 2 watermelons with just bursting at the seams of milk, and Miles was a hungry baby, and so those two didn't combine, and he did like struggle with a bit of gas, and it made me stressed, it made him stressed. It was just a stressful situation. So I always try and feed reclined, and at night I sometimes like to side lie, so lying down in bed and having him down on the mattress and just suckling on my boob that way helps. Just basically any way that the baby doesn't have milk coming into their mouth, like straight down their throat, more like that they have to suck and work for that. So that was something that was really helpful. Yeah, so just different positions in breastfeeding is really important, and I would recommend investing in a good breastfeeding pillow if you're not going to have like a rocking chair or any solid comfortable place to breastfeed, because my couch at home is uncomfortable and the bed is the kind of only comfortable place that I can breastfeed him, and I'm a stay-at-home mum, so like it's fine, I can breastfeed in bed, but like obviously I don't always want to be in bed. So if you do want to go on the couch, you do need to have a good breastfeeding pillow, unless you're just one of those people that really are confident with the positioning. I'm not, so I'm still yet to find a good breastfeeding pillow. But the one I'm wanting to invest in is my Breast Friend. I'll insert a picture now. It just looks the best and it has the best reviews online, so I'm gonna try it next week and I'm gonna let you guys know how it goes. The next thing I'm going to talk about is nipple pain. I'm not a stranger to nipple pain in breastfeeding, and nobody is. There's a really common misconception that if you're breastfeeding correctly, if you're latching properly, yada yada yada, breastfeeding should not hurt. That is not true. Breastfeeding does hurt, especially in the early days. I'm into week 3 and my nipples do still hurt because Miles is getting stronger and he's sucking stronger and his latching is stronger, so it does kind of hurt. And you just need to make sure your nipples stay moist and don't let them crack or get dry. So I do recommend the lanolin, I don't know how you say it, but I'll attach an image, cream for your nipples, and silverettes. The first few days I wore silverettes, so in the hospital, and just the first few days, but then because they are hard and they do sit on the nipple, I just started to find it uncomfortable, and I didn't want to wear like these 2 hard metal things anymore in between feeds. It was just uncomfortable because my nipples were already sore. So I started the cream, and the lanolin cream is genuinely so amazing. Like it really soothes the nipple, and it helps in between feeds, and you don't have to take it off to breastfeed. Like your baby can just suck directly with the cream on. It doesn't affect the baby. So that's just been unbelievable and an unbelievable help. If your nipples are sore, do not stress. Just don't let them get to the cracked stage. Like if they start getting cracked, dry and bleeding, then that's something's not right. You need to consult a lactation specialist. But otherwise, just keep them moist. Put breast milk inside your silverettes. Put breast milk on your nipple or the lanolin cream, and yeah, just hang in there and persevere, because it starts to feel a lot more comfortable after a few weeks. And now that I'm in week 3, Miles often will latch and I don't feel it a thing. I can feel the pressure of him on there, but I don't feel pain. Other times he latches and it does hurt. Maybe his latch isn't good enough, or his latch is too like awkward, my positioning's awkward, something's not right. If that happens, just unlatch, put your finger in their mouth, get them off, and then reposition, and it will be a lot less painful. So yeah, hang in there guys with the nipple pain, but it will get. The next thing I want to discuss is breastfeeding in public. So I am yet to do this, so I'm not someone that can really talk about this, but I obviously am going to breastfeed in public, and the things that I'm going to recommend doing will be just something that I know I'm going to do. So I have ordered a breastfeeding kind of cover that is a 7-in-1, so it goes over the buggy, it goes over, sorry I'm so tired because, you know, staying up all night, goes over the bassinet, goes over the car seat, it goes over everything, and it's got like a head hole for me that I can wear, and then I can breastfeed in public without having my nipple out to the elements and to the people. I'm not really the kind of person that wants to have my boob out everywhere. I do like really take my hat off to women that don't give a shit and just breastfeed wherever with their nipple out, but I know that I'm not that confident and comfortable with myself to do that at this stage. Maybe I will be later, but at this stage I'm not. So yeah, I am really looking forward to breastfeeding in public, and I will let you guys know how that goes. But at the end of the day, our babies do need to eat, and breastfeeding is the most natural way you can feed a baby. So be it. If people don't like it, they can piss off. The final thing I want to talk about is oversupply, undersupply, just general milk supply, and managing engorgement and yeah, that kind of thing. So I had an oversupply, as I mentioned earlier, and my boobs were engorged, really uncomfortable. There was lumpy, and yeah, it was really sore. So ways that I battled that was expressing before the feed with my hands. So hand expressing the extra milk out of the nipple, so that 1, Miles didn't choke, and 2, so that my boobs had a bit of relief, but I didn't empty the breast. So if you have oversupply and you're trying to get rid of some of the extra milk, you never want to empty the breast by pumping, because the more you pump, the more the boob thinks that the baby is drinking, and then that's the more milk that the breast will create. So then you're just kind of causing yourself to have a problem, because you are making your body think that it needs to make more milk. So don't keep trying to pump and empty the boob and like get relief that way. Just hand express a little bit for a couple of minutes until you feel the boobs a little bit softer, and then have the baby feed on your dominant your weaker side first, and then your dominant side after. So if you have a weaker boob, I have this side which is weaker and smaller. Make sure that you always put the baby on this side to start off with, because then, or the side that's weaker, so that this can be encouraging this boob to make more milk, and then this boob will calm down. Eventually, after a few weeks, everything should calm down. Again, it's only 3 weeks in, so my boobs have really started to calm down now, and they're soft, a lot more soft. They don't get engorged anymore unless it goes on for hours without me feeding, but that would happen anyway, because obviously my boobs are expecting baby to be drinking. So yeah, just hang in there and make sure you manage each boob. Make sure that each boob is making enough milk for the baby. If you have an undersupply, you can feed the baby again on the weaker boob, and then express that boob directly after feeding to encourage more milk to be made. So it's just about understanding the science of how the breast milk is made, and how to navigate that balance and keeping your boobs balanced, because obviously nobody wants one boob massively bigger than the other, or one boob dry and the other one leaking and yeah, engorged. So just remember to balance your boobs. So that's the end of the video, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope this was informative. If there's anything that I've missed, please say in the comments, to help other mums that are breastfeeding get more confident and feel like they can get this shit down, because once you are able to breastfeed your baby, it is one of the most magical bonding experiences that you can have, and it's something that every woman deserves to be able to at least give it a go, you know. And that's what I wanted to do when I had my baby. I wanted to give it a real go, and if it didn't work, it wasn't going to work, and I would have given up, and I would have, you know, expressed or formula. So I don't judge any mums for not breastfeeding, but I really wanted to give it a go, and I want all mums to be able to feel confident to give it a go. So again, if you are struggling, contact a lactation specialist. They're really helpful. And if you're struggling, look on YouTube for advice. Ask your mum, friend, sister, auntie, anyone who ever breastfed for advice, and listen to your body and listen to your baby. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good week, and thank you for watching.